Hello everybody, and this is a big congratulations, because if you've got a skip company and you've made it to today watching this video and joining the army of people who watch skip works in the skip industry, you will know that you've made it through the winter season. Well done. It's quite an achievement in this economy to last all this time. Especially, we've got some big changes coming, and this video today is just about waste news. So if there's nothing you're interested in the waste industry, I suggest you're in the wrong place. But if you're in the waste industry, you're in the right place. So just bear that in mind. So I'll tell you about the waste news, and it's going to affect you, I guarantee it. So hang about. But first of all, I'll tell you quickly about what we've been doing. So as you know, we've been building a lightweight skip body. I work for a company who builds skip bodies. You'll be well aware of that. And we've been building a lightweight one. It's finally finished. So we've been doing it all winter, to try and make a lightweight truck. And it's not as light as it can be. It could be a lot lighter, to be fair. We could get another 100 kilos off it, but we don't want to, lose the lifting power in exchange for something so stupid, as changing a bit of steel, a couple of mil or whatever, and then you're not sure if it'll take the, do the day's work. So we're going to send that truck out. We've got plenty of people who are interested in buying it. We're going to send it out, and we're basically going to see what happens. It's as simple as that. We're sending it out, and, hopefully, in a year's time, when the warranty's done, the customer will come back to us and we'll ring him and he'll say, yeah, the truck was perfect. I mean, in the meantime, we'll let him have a go with it. And if there's nothing obvious that stands out, we'll start making them. As you know, a lot of the other people who manufacture trucks, and this is no kind of diss or anything like that, they charge for all these different things, and their bodies are lighter but more expensive and stuff like that. With us, we are fair people, and I stand by it. We give a fair day's work, a fair day's pay, and a fair body for a fair price. Our new lightweight body, what we're calling lightweight, has got a little bit more engineering in it, but it's got a little bit less materials in it, so it ain't going to be any more expensive. Imagine that. If anything, it may be a bit cheaper, because the headboard, I've just got to work it out, but we get our headboards made. One of my mates makes them for me, so basically we did a drawing, and we get loads done at once, and he does them for us. We're not going to need to use them, because we do so many bodies. We can't make the headboards and everything so quick as we need to put a truck together for the customers we have. We have so many. Our yard's got probably 10 trucks in it right now, or whatever, waiting to get done. It goes up and down. I mean, we have three come this week. So we get 3 in, but we only make 1. Do you know what I mean? So, if we was making the headboard, the arms and everything else, before you know it, you'd be backed up with bodies to do. So what we do is we get, whatever we can made elsewhere, and then we assemble it all at the end. That's what we've been trying to do, to speed the production up. And then obviously we can check everything and test everything. So yeah, we're not going to charge anymore. These trucks have got like a lifting hooks on the back. You pull an handle and the hooks will come up. Nice and simple. It's just a wire, an handle, pull it, and the hooks come up at the back. I think the chains are a lot better and a lot less hassle, but what do I know? We're going to test it. It's just it's a prototype. It's called that because we don't know what's going to happen with it. The arms, we should be in a position now where we've been making them long enough that people would be confident, and we should be confident in what we're making is going to last, and I think they will. I'm quite confident. But going back to the waste industry, what we're doing this year, so as you will know, we are all getting hammered with this landfill tax. So that's going to go up over £20 a ton. And again, like I say to everybody, if you haven't got a landfill or anything like that, well, you just, sitting duck, aren't you? So you've done well to get to this point. Going on for the rest of the year, what are we doing? So we've got a picking line in our yard. I will show you a picture of it. And we will sort out rubbish. But what we did is the last couple of years, because trommel fans was such a problem, when the trommel fans tax changed to a 10% LOI and people got really, nervous about taking them, we had to, it was so difficult to get rid of them. It was harder to get rid of fans than it was waste. It's calmed down now, but we was picking it all off the floor, and then if if there's any bricks left, instead of putting it through a trommel, we was just scraping them up and getting rid of them that way, rather than putting them through a trommel and mixing up and making fans, which is a nightmare. We just sort of was picking off the floor, but the problem is with that, is that your waste can be quite heavy. So because waste is so expensive now, you've got to adjust, what you do. So what we've done on our picking line is we've made the bays twice the size. Underneath, you could fit about a 40 yarder underneath, where now we've made it where you get an artic load of waste under each bay. So one for general, it's a big picking line, one for general. We're going to have one for PVC, one for wood, one for metal, one for cardboard, and then brick off the end of the bay. That's it. That's really the only things worth picking out. We don't get enough, and people will say, well, what about plastic, soft plastic? Yeah, absolutely. If you're dealing with, manufacturing waste where things are wrapped up with, big plastic pallets and stuff, we don't get a lot of it. We get a small amount. You might as well just have a lad picking that out before it goes through the picking line. So it's not worth it for us. So we're just changing the line so it suits what we're doing, and we're changing to the the market, the economy, whatever you want to call it. And that's what you've got to do in business. I've said before when we were talking about Asheville and stuff, and it's funny because the things I say, and he literally did a video last week saying, I didn't look at the numbers and I bought all these new trucks and I stretched myself too far. And that is something I say all the time about stretching yourself. You've got a rubber band and you're pulling it and you're pulling it. And you can only go so far before it breaks. And that's what's happened with that poor lad. What a shame. Them 4 lorries could take down his fleet of 25, because the cost of them 4 is probably more than the full 25 when you get them brand new. As soon as you drive them out the showroom, you lose 50 grand. 4 trucks, that's £200,000 lost the day you buy them. Imagine that. So like I say, just keep yourself, and I always say this in every video, make sure you are efficient. Whatever you are doing, be efficient. If you've got a picking line, I recently went to my mate's picking line and I watched them put rubbish through a trommel. The boys are throwing it out, and because the bays underneath was too small, they was throwing the wood out, and half it was going into the general, which was next to it, and then they'd have to put a little bit of that back through the plant and all that. And I was talking to them about double handling and this, that and the other. And some people just get the mindset, we've got a picking line, we've got to run it, it's got to go through the picking line, It don't make no difference what we do. They don't know why they're doing it. They're a dog who's chasing his tail, spinning round in circles, and all you're doing is probably putting twice the amount of money onto your actual tipping cost, because you're processing over and over again. And we all send loads out, don't we? And it gets there, and if it's a load of wood and it's got plastic in it, like, we're not taking that, we're rejecting it, or whatever. And usually it comes from them sort of things, trying to process too much, that people get obsessed with these picking lines, just running and running and running. Where if you had 4 lads on the floor with a small grab picking out the big stuff before it went through, what you put through your picking line could be down, could be reduced by 50%. And that's what we do. When we run our picking line, I try and sort every single thing out before it goes through the line. The only thing that goes through the line is things too small to do manually. That's just my take on it. It's more manageable. As soon as you put something through a trommel, it all gets mixed together, and, you have a tin of paint or, some, I don't know, jam jar full of bloody jam, and it goes through. I'm using that as an example. It all gets covered in jam, whatever. It's so hard to recycle from that point that, it's almost not worth doing. I tell you what, the sun's bright, innit? Bloody nightmare. But yeah, I've been walking around like a walrus for a few months, but I've tried to diet down a bit, so, because good job the sun's out, innit? Oh, cooking in here today. But anyway, going on to the waste news, like I say, make sure you're being efficient. I can't tell you how to run your business, but that is the top and bottom of anything. Be efficient, save everything you can, and if you look at pennies, you'll blink your eyes and then you've got, pounds. Old saying, but there you go. And this waste news, what's big news? So there is a power station that takes a lot of wood out of the UK and Scottish and all them areas, and it's going on a shutdown. I don't know if it is shut down because it's broken down or shut down just because it's shut down. But the top and bottom of the situation is there's going to be many thousands of tons of demand taken out of the industry for wood. So what you're going to find is going to happen is that the wood price is going to go absolutely skyrocketing. This information is from a very good source that is right in the Wood Recycling Association, them sort of people that they let them know when plants are going up and down. I speak to everybody, and they've told me that there's a couple of plants. There's one you know, more down south, I think in Yorkshire, and then there's one up in near Lockerbie, and they just happen to go down at the same time for maintenance and stuff like that. So if you've got wood in your yard, take my word for it, you will be getting a phone call in the next week or two telling you your gate fee's going up. If it hasn't already, it might have already started, but I promise you, you will be getting a phone call or two telling you that your gate fees are going to be going up. So what to do? Get it out. Get it out. Sitting on waste is the biggest thing that people do wrong. They get these buildings full of rubbish and they just sit on it hoping for better days to come. The better days with a wood job is not going to happen. It's only going to go up. So you really, really need to act quickly on this one. We've already started, you know, getting it out as quick as we can. As soon as it comes in and hits the floor, we're getting it out, because it will be only a matter of time, because we're not contracted for wood where the price will go up, because they'll have to put it up because there's going to be no demand. It's a bit of a nightmare. And I think the one up at Lockerbie, it's Lockerbie Way, I think they're going to be shut for a few months, apparently 4 months, which is, you know, what affects the wood market, or the, you know, RDF market even as well, is that when they change the clocks, so when the clocks go back or the clocks go forward, it adjusts the price. If you've got more daylight, there isn't as much demand because there's not as much electrical required, and then when it goes the other way, where you've got more dark, if you like, there is more demand for material. And that is it. So that's the news for today. You know, and like I say, if you want one of our lightweight bodies, give us a shout. You know, if you want to talk about waste or anything else, give us a shout. I'm only on the end of the phone. And anybody with any waste news or like that who would like to share it with me, I am more than happy to listen to you. You know, we'll get some content made, and I will see you all soon. Bye.